Oh no, I'm upside down for my review of the new Bob Odenkirk film, Life Upside Down. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass. And oh no, I'm upside down still. You know what? I'm not gonna do the whole thing upside down. I thought it'd be fun for just the intro. Let's turn around. All right, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Life Upside Down, a new film starring Bob Odenkirk, Radha Mitchell, Danny Huston, and Rosie Fellner, which is coming to theaters and digital on January 27th, 2023. It was a pandemic project. It kind of came around right at the start of the pandemic. They were filming in the summer of 2020, and it's finally coming to theaters and digital now. My hot take is, look, I think you should pass on it. I think this was a very interesting project and a really amazing effort that happened during the pandemic just to make a film at that time. And it has a great cast, and it's a nice reminder of what life was like back then. But the film does feel a little rough around the edges, probably because of how this film was made. And there's not really that much that happens. And also, this is kind of remembering something that happened 3 years ago. It feels like this should have come out, maybe a year and a half ago. I'm not sure why it took that long, but coming out now, it doesn't really feel timely like it should. So that being said, I'm going to tell you a little more about the film, a few things I liked and a few things I didn't like. So in Life Upside Down, you have Bob Odenkirk playing a an artist who is kind of at the top of his game. He's has a gallery. He's doing a show in 2019. I think it was October of 2019. Everything seems to be going great, and he has a new kind of love affair with someone who he is head over heels with, is inspiring him. Everything seems to be going his way. And then the little thing called the pandemic happened, and that shut life down. And the rest of the film is the characters dealing with this new reality and kind of the new world that we were all thrust into in March of 2020. So, things I liked about this film. The first, hey, this is a fantastic cast. You've got Bob Odenkirk, Radha Mitchell, Danny Huston, and Rosie Fellner. They all are really fun to see, and it's a really kind of good group of characters to kind of spearhead this and keep the drama and the story moving. And all their characters are very different. They are very kind of different personalities, but they do feel like they have aspects of who they are in general. I mean, obviously they're playing characters, so that they're not, one to one, but you do get kind of an interesting sense of the personalities based on the characters that they're playing. The second thing I really liked is the parallel stories. The film follows kind of three main households throughout, and it kind of shows things that happen in the various households and how that affects them. And you'll have Zoom calls where you'll see the perspective of one, you'll see the perspective of the other, and it events that happen in these different stories do kind of ripple through to the other storylines as well, and you get kind of a nice kind of drama throughout. And it's nice to see kind of the different perspectives, so you're not just kind of viewing one conversation, one person. You do get a sense from each of the characters of their shared story. So that being said, things I didn't love as much. The first is, it's a pretty slowly paced film. I think part of that is just, the fact that you had to film this all during the pandemic when you couldn't do much, like you were kind of bound to the house, you couldn't have a lot of interaction. And so because of that, not really much happens. I mean, I guess that was just kind of our life at the time. Like not really much was happening, but this is kind of that in film form. And when you put that on the screen, you do get a very slowly paced, not super exciting film. They do introduce some drama to kind of add to the story, but some of it does feel a little manufactured. Some of it doesn't feel like that well done. So overall, this is just a very slowly paced film. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking of checking it out. The second thing I did not love is, I'm like, let's call it some production issues. Like, I think because of the way that they filmed this, there are just some rough aspects to it. Like the camera doesn't move, which I think is by design. They wanted to kind of have a static camera to showcase what was going on, but that does make it feel kind of like a very rough project. And there is some like dialogue and delivery issues. I don't really know if that was time constraints or just maybe because of the way this was filmed, you could only have, maybe they didn't want to do multiple takes, maybe they didn't want to have as much interaction with people. So in any event, the film does feel kind of rough, and you definitely notice those things when you're watching this film. It does kind of break your suspension of disbelief. And the third thing I didn't really love as much is, I guess I'll call it the timing. Like this feels like an amazing project and an interesting project that was a testament to what you could do during the pandemic. I feel like it should have come out closer to the pandemic. We've had several films that were timely, that were about the pandemic, that came out around that time when people were still kind of either living it or when people were still kind of thinking a lot about it. But now it feels like that's all in our rearview mirror. It feels like this timing of this is very strange, almost 3 years after the I guess pandemic happened. I guess maybe it just took them that long to finalize it. Maybe it just took them that long to get like a distribution deal. I'm not sure why it took this long, but it does feel like there was a big time gap between when this project should have been completed and when it came out. And that just kind of makes it feel a little bit untimely. So that being said, Life Upside Down is in theaters and digital on January 27th, 2023. So if you want to check it out, you can. And thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.